Today I did some driving to see what kind of damage had been done by the storm the other day. My first stop was Schonenberg, where I'd seen a picture of a house that had its roof ripped off. Here's the house here. As you can see, about half of the roof is completely gone. Also in the area there's lots of tree debris. Right here there's a recycling bin that had been knocked over. There were houses around this one also that displayed damage to the roofs, like here. Obviously not nearly as much, but still some damage nonetheless. But mainly localized to this area here and around that house. There's a little bit more damage, perhaps some debris impact damage. Also in this area there was this tree that had been snapped off near the top. And I also did notice this pattern in the grass, which may or may not have been caused by this event, but I am noticing that it's pushed down in several different directions, which could be an indicator of rotation. I'll let the experts be the judge on that one. Now this event here, or this damage here, happened before the rotation that I noticed in the video I posted earlier. So this is what you're seeing here is the rotation that happened after it had passed over Schonenberg. Now this map you're about to see is the direction where my camera was facing when I believed I saw this tornado.
There's a tornado over there!
What?
And so I took a drive up in that direction, and that's where the town of Dietschweiler is. And I apologize for the pronunciation because I'm probably butchering these horribly. But I did note a lot of tree damage there, at least 4 or 5 trees that I could see that had been snapped over by this event here. Here's a map that shows the location of the trees that I had shown you that have been blown over by this event. And what I did is I took a map and I drew a line between Schonenberg and Dietschweiler. Now I'm not saying that there's a tornado on the ground for this entire line, but this is kind of the path that's connecting these two dots here. And I noticed that this path went right through the town of Gries, and so I decided to take a drive. Sure enough, by Umbashi Lake, which is just outside of Gries, there was a whole bunch of localized damage. A whole bunch of trees down, mainly just trees down. It looked like they'd already kind of moved these to the side as crews had done a little bit of cleanup work today. Here's a tree that was it's still partially rooted in the ground, and you can see how the ground had lifted up around the roots as it got blown over. And there's another tree just next to it down there that also gotten blown over, along with this advertising sign that I saw. I'm not sure where the sign originally was or how far it may have traveled. And this is a fairly sizable tree here. I'm going to put my hand up against it for scale in a minute here, but I mean probably at least about 12 to 18 inches in diameter here. So it took some sort of really powerful wind to snap all these trees like this. Here's 3 trees next to each other. You can see the kind of the damage along the lakeside here, along with several trees that are lying in the lake right now. More trees that were uprooted from the ground. And here's a road where they haven't cleaned this up yet, but a whole lot of just more trees that have been down by this event here. As we're watching this, I will say that what prompted me to get my camera out in the first place was when we saw the storm passing over our house. We saw that it had several unique factors that seemed to just be ripe for something to happen. We could see the clouds being sucked up into the updraft. I could see that there was a green hue inside the cloud, which I found out later is indicative of a cloud that has a whole lot of moisture locked up inside it, which is something that is usually seen in a a storm cell that has a potential to produce tornadoes. So with that in mind, that's when I went inside and I got my camera and I started taking the video that a lot of you have probably already seen at this point. And earlier today I did speak to a gentleman from the Deutscher Wetterdienst, which is basically the German equivalent of the National Weather Service. And he said they can't call it official yet. They still need to look at the Doppler weather radar images and see if they can get any eyewitness accounts. Unfortunately, from the video, you can't really tell if it's actually rotating because I didn't stay on it long enough. But so, as of when I'm recording this video, I'll put an annotation up if it's changed. But as of this time, it's not officially called a tornado yet. So these may have been simply straight line winds. But he did say that it does seem to have the I guess the look of a tornado. There is the rotation in the beginning that would be at the very least possibly a funnel cloud. But until it's official, we're not sure. But hopefully, as they survey the damage, there will be a more official word that'll come out at some point here. And as we wrap up here, here's the map that shows the damaged trees around the lake, and it does follow along that line there. I didn't notice any damage up in the town of Gries, but so this is the track of the event that happened. Again, it wasn't on the ground the whole time, but this is kind of all the damage is localized around this line here. In all the other driving I did around the area, I didn't really notice any other damage. So I don't know if straight line winds would stay localized to a pretty much a small area like this. Some people have suggested those are scud clouds, but I can't imagine that scud clouds would be causing the kind of damage that was seen around this area where trees are just pretty much snapped in half. And so it'll be up to the experts to decide, and hopefully they'll get some more reports in. As they study the damage, we'll be able to see straight line winds, tornado, or HARP or something crazy like that.